Yo, guys, welcome. I'm gonna say it off the top. I'm refilming this video because I filmed it and then I realized my head was cut off. And I'm sure I was funny, entertaining, all that good stuff, and now I'm just mad. So I don't got no jokes.
A sip of E&J.
Welcome back. Thank you guys for joining me again on my couch for my countdown. Today's video is most cultural. And for me, it was a difficult category, and I know, I say that all the time, but it's true. It was difficult just because I feel like my culture is so much a part of me. And so because of that, I feel like I sprinkle, I don't know, Salt Bae. I kind of sprinkle my culture in everything that I do. And I hope that people can take away parts of my culture from my art. That's the goal. But I do think there was a couple of poems in particular that were actually about being Nigerian, and my culture is more on display. So it was a toss-up between two. But the reason I picked Her Hips as the most cultural video that I dropped this year is because it was a family affair. It's the only video that my parents actually appear in. And let me tell you, when I first asked them, they kind of were like, we don't want to be in your video, whatever, you know? And then when it was Saturday, the day we were filming, they were like, what time do you need us ready? Is this okay? What do you want us to wear? Like, super into it. And I'm looking at them like, thought you didn't want to be in my video, you know? But they did. Of course, everybody wants to be in the video. But it was a lot of fun dancing in the house, especially because I haven't been to a Nigerian party in so long. And I thought when I moved back to California, I'd be in those parties, making all that money, dancing, of course. But Rona had different plans. So there's no parties, there's nothing. So it was nice to create that party atmosphere at our home and get dressed up. And my brother also filmed it, but also made a little cameo at the end. Like, we forced him, he didn't want to do it. But it was a good time, just dancing around at the house. Yeah, it was also tiring. Like, I be forgetting, like, Nigerian songs be like 30 minutes long. So it's a full workout, like a full workout. So we were like dancing. It's hot because it's Southern California. So what else? It's gonna be hot. So we were like sweating, like dabbing ourselves with like paper towel. Like, it was a true Nigerian function. Like, felt like we brought it to life. So it was great to have my family in the video as well, while also, you know, talking about something that's important in my culture, or that's prevalent in my culture rather, dance. And the whole poem is talking about, because I'm a dancer, people make assumptions about me or what that means about, you know, who I am. And it's always been a weird thing, because in my mind I'm like, yeah, Nigerians move their hips, their butts a lot when they're dancing, but like, I be doing that with my mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up watching my mom do that, aunties doing that. So like, when I go to the club and I do the same thing, it's not sexualized. It's dancing, which is part of the culture. Just because I can move my hips, move my butt, I can dance or whatever, doesn't mean anything. All that means is that I can move my butt, I can dance, I can move my hips, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of wrote this poem out of frustration, just thinking back to all the things people had said to me because I dance and I like to dance in the club, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it kind of had multiple aspects for why I felt like it was the most cultural video. So yeah, Her Hips, the most cultural video that I dropped this year. And if you haven't seen it, you can check it out right now.
Her hips cut through every rhythm of the melody with the sharpness of a knife. She served beauty, grace, and sex appeal with such confidence that he assumed her hips had devoured more than just beats. His eyes traced the angles and shapes that formed her hypnotic shape, picturing the equation of men that must have divided her, leaving the remainder for him to analyze. He never once considered that the roll in her waist and the bend in her back was learned from watching her mother gyrate to Tony one week. He figured that the motion that had his head on a swivel was intended to make him weak, so that he would crawl to her and convince her to meet him on her knees. He thought her movements were only intended to please. He couldn't imagine that her hips were passed down like fables, holding the history of a nation in the creases. And that every time she moved, she took the whole room to school, teaching them the culture of her people. See, he must not know about the Igbo. Because when she danced, she paid homage to Allah, who carries the seeds of possibility right below her waist, whose hips are the one that created the orbit of the sun used to fertilize the earth. She's the one responsible for our birth. She should be praised on, not preyed on. But see, he missed this history lesson because every time the teacher would turn around and write something on the whiteboard, he thought she was trying to tempt him. He watched as her body followed her hands across the board, only focusing on his sword used to conquer her frame, so he never heard a word. He was used to tuning out women and substituting their voice for his own. So when he approached her, he had a hard time hearing that this dance wouldn't go any further. He had already made assumptions about her. He had already made mental plans to get inside her. He was so sure that these impure thoughts would be reenacted for the entertainment of his ego. He was already planning the sequel. He had a whole script planned out and didn't even ask her if she wanted a part. He just thought that the way she moved meant many people had taken that shot, so he was lining it up, ready to knock it down. He thought he had laid the groundwork. All he had left to do was follow through. But she's not a game. The user manual is not written on the inside of her thighs. The S in her hips do not spell out a cheat code. The way she moved does not signal anything more than her joy. Her moves are not for you.